Hey, pause up, everybody. Welcome to Meowy Hour. I'm your host, Arden Moore. And as you know, this show is presented each and every week by the Cat Fancier Association. Somewhere in my tiny house in Dallas, in my backyard, are the furry co-host. And I'm speaking of Casey and Rusty. Let's start the bribery. Come on, guys. Who wants? Here's Rusty's theme.
He like went over the top.
He is over the top.
Move over, Pavla. My name is Rusty the Performer. Also, we got cool humans in the house, of course. We have our co-pilots from the CFA. Let's give a big shout out to All Breed Cat Judge, Kathy Black. Woo! And All Breed CFA Cat Judge and editor of Cat Talk, of course, Teresa Kiger, the only non-lefty in this show. And back by popular demand, we have the host of Community Cats podcast, and she does a lot of great conferences to bring out the best in our feline friends. Of course, we're speaking about Stacy LaBaron. Woo! Lefties rule. Sorry. So we have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to be talking about, I think single-handedly, Stacy LaBaron is going to make cats the best four-leggers on the planet. Hang on, Rusty is in my cabinet. Come here, Rusty. He goes, I think you put the cat treats in there. Get out of that. I'm holding on to these. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the CFA. We got big news. We got some trivia. We're going to be speaking today about the American Wirehair breed, which is kind of a cool name. And the drink tonight, ooh, is so smooth. I'm talking smooth, baby. We're talking about, we're going to be doing the wonderful white Persian. So we got a lot to kick off. But right now, I got to tell you, do you know who my favorite author is? And he's a big cat lover. He's dead, but he was a big cat lover. Of course, I'm speaking of Ernest Hemingway. Now, I as a writer, I have written a number of books. I was a reporter for major newspapers for 20 years. What I really liked is that he wrote tight. It is hard to write powerful with short sentences. Every word has to matter. It's not one of these flowery, dependent clauses, and you're like taking a breath 17 times for each sentence. No. For whom the bell tolls, the old man in the sea, he just did it. He was a war correspondent, but he also loved cats, which proves, don't you agree? Real men love cats. What do you think about that statement, Stacy?
I think it's great. I think it's wonderful. And Ernest Hemingway is also my husband's favorite author too. So, and he's a writer himself. So, and he tries to write in that tight style. So I appreciate what you were saying about that. But yeah, real men do love cats. And actually that was a key topic of our online cat conference we had this past weekend. We had a panel of men who were involved in animal welfare and how they felt like they were being received and what their challenges were. Being in some people call it an industry, other people call it a passion, call it a calling, but it is a female dominated world that we swing in. And how do men, feel about playing a role in that world, and how are they received sort of on the other side of the street in the man's world? They're like, oh, well, you're a guy, you should have a dog, you shouldn't have a cat, and that kind of thing. And
well, see, you're breaking the molds, and that's what we all are about. I mean, there's a chick as a VP in the House, and we got a second gentleman now. So this is perfect time to be a dude trying to do a good job to promote cats, don't you think?
Well, it's very interesting because here in America, most of the cat fanciers are female, but if you go over to Asia, all the cat fanciers almost are male. I mean,
really?
It's a very male-dominated field in Asia. So it's very interesting how cultures are different depending on where you live.
Well, that's why I like Meowy Hour, because it's presented by the Cat Fancier Association. And yes, they've been around a long time promoting purebreds, but they're also promoting mutt cats, cats that are not purebreds. They're promoting all cats with the companion cat world and other things. So it's all, I guess the theme is inclusivity. What do you think? So I want to get back to Hemingway for a second, because how many of you, raise your paw, if you've ever had pre-COVID the opportunity to go to the Hemingway House in Key West, Florida? It's at the end of the thing. I was a reporter for many years in South Florida, but I've been there 3 times. I've done one of my radio shows from O Behave on Pet Life Radio, and I've got to walk the grounds. If you are a cat and you have more than the normal number of toes, polydactyl, your dream residency is the Hemingway House. Don't you guys agree?
That's what I've heard.
And
I was going to ask you, do you remember when there was a hurricane and they recorded live from there?
Yes, yes. So I'm telling you, if you look at the wall, there's a brick wall on the compound. And if you look at the end, you're going to see the brick wall go in and out like this, because Hemingway was blitzed and all his buddies in the middle of the night, they got drunk and they put a brick wall together, and it isn't going to win code. It's really wobbly. But while I was there, guys, I got to interview Marilyn Monroe, Zane Grey, Clark
My
Gable.
grandmother's favorite was Zane Grey.
Ooh, Clark Gable, Bugsy Siegel, and now you're going to hear who they really are. Harry, H-A-I-R-Y, Truman. So I got to interview some of the cats. Now, one of the key ringleaders, don't mention anybody because it's our trivia question, but I got to meet a lot of these famous cats, polydactyl cats, that are named after famous people in literature, in Hollywood. Do any of you remember a famous cat that's at the Hemingway House? Do you have a favorite? Okay, but I thought that was pretty cool. Here, Clark Gable. Now stop scratching your butt, Truman. I mean, really. So these cats roam free, but they're smart. And the nice thing too is companies have come in now and they get their normal needed flea and tick medicines and things like that, because you're living in South Florida where there's a lot of humidity. And so these cats are living the great life. There's a quote that Hemingway said about cats, and it's probably the longest sentence I've ever seen him write. And it is this: a cat has absolute emotional honesty. Human beings, for one reason or another, may hide their feelings, but a cat does not. What do you guys think about that? So he wanted to hang around candid companions. The other thing that's very interesting about the Hemingway House is there is like a garage or a building right next to the main building, and it doesn't have any doors, and the only way he used to come in it was throw this, like, I don't know what you want to call it, a rope or something, like a rope that people climb up that he can roll in. So when he didn't want to be bothered by one of his many wives that he married, he would shimmy across on this like trapeze thing, go in there right, but roll it up so that nobody could bother him except the cats.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and there's a penny that's near the pool that he put in concrete because he was having a tiff with one of his wives, and he goes, well, just take my last cent. So she put it on the pool. So let's just say Ernest Hemingway may not get Husband of the Year awards, but I think he should have gotten Cat Daddy of the Year awards. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Not a warm and fuzzy, but he loved the warm and fuzzies.
There you go. Perfect way of doing it. And what's interesting is we're going to have a trivia contest about this, but many of the cats obviously had more than the normal 5, 5, 4, 4 claws. They were polydactyl, and they were a favorite of people that were having fishing boats to get rid of the mice and rats on the boats, because if you're a cat in the high seas, you want something to grip on. And if you got like 2 or 3 extra grippers on each paw, you're like, it's like a suction cup, you know? So it just kept passing down this line. So when COVID is over, it's going to get over. I urge all of you, check out the Hemingway House. It is a great thing. What's a favorite memory you have from the Hemingway House, Kathy?
I haven't been there.
Oh,
no.
I know Stacy's been there. Oh, Teresa, were you there?
Yeah, I was there. It was the Naples annual. We popped over from Naples down to Key West for the day. It was really fascinating. But like I said, it was just for the afternoon. But
Yeah.
I loved seeing all those cats.
And they're very well taken care of. How about you,
Very well.
Stacy? What's a good memory?
Yeah, I have to admit, I did it when I was on spring break in college.
So you're like,
Oh.
So I think I might have spent a little more time in the bar that he used to hang out at down the street. But we did go to the house and we walked through, and I mean, the cats were gorgeous. They were beautiful. It was wonderful. It was definitely paradise for a cat. That's for sure. And they didn't seem too fazed by all the people either.
No.
And
because they're
celebrities.
celebrities.
Kind of like,
Yeah.
But
Hey, they got the
it was just a really nice
paparazzi.
place.
Yeah, they got the paparazzi, and they don't mind.
Paparazzi.
Yeah, paparazzi. Hey, before we kick off our talk with Stacy LaBaron, I'd like, Kathy's got some big news ripped from the headlines for CFA. Take it away, Kathy.
All right. So we are proud to announce that we are going to be having a virtual cat show that's going to benefit Spencer Davis and the Trap King, as we
Shirley, that's
Sterling
Sterling
I
Davis.
I keep calling him Spencer. I don't know why I want to call him Spencer.
He
So- He
He
won't
was
like
just testing us.
he won't like that.
Oh,
So
he's cool.
So here is the website. So it's going to kick off in 3 days, and this is open to all cats. If you're not currently a registered CCW cat, you can register directly from the entry page. You want to go to vcc.cfa.org/TrapKing2021. This has been posted on our Facebook page. We had a news announcement go out about it yesterday. So everybody be sure and go out here and check it out. If you scroll down on this page, you'll get to see let me go to the judges. You'll get to see the judges that we have. Nathan the Cat Lady, Kate Benjamin, who we had on Meowy Hour. Remember her?
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, we've got Arden Moore, who's going to be judging the Gotcha Day class. Okay. Sunglass Cat's going to be a judge. And so is Sterling Davis. He's going to do Where's Your Cat At class.
I like it.
So everyone be sure it's 3 days from now is when it kicks off. It's going to be running for a couple weeks. But you want to go to vcc.cfa.org/TrapKing2021. And the other thing I just wanted to bring up very quickly is that this weekend is the CFA February board meeting. It's going to be online. And there was an email that went out with the announcement, but I'm going to share my screen real quick and just show it to you. It starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time, and there's going to be a Zoom meeting. So look on the CFA Facebook page, and also if you get the CFA announcements, you would have this in your email. This is the link if you can go back and find it at this section of our Meowy Hour, but you click on the Zoom link and you can watch and listen to the board meeting. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday, and the agenda's been published. So just wanted to bring that up also, but I really want everyone to know about our virtual cat show event. This is sponsored by CFA, and the proceeds of this is going to help him with his trap neuter release program that he goes all around the country educating and helping communities, and we're very happy to partner with him on this. So everyone, there's over 100 winners, and the top 10 or 11 actually get their picture on down in New York City on Times Square. It's going to be actually, your cat's picture will be featured in
Nice.
Times Square. The 11 top grand prize winners will be featured in Times Square. So how cool is that for people to be in New York City to see your cat with that, what is it, 30-foot tall image? So that's really cool. So everybody be sure and participate in that and have a lot of fun with it.
Rusty, the performer here.
Yes.
I have a question. I have a really important question.
Okay.
Me and Trap King go way back. When
I've
I was a
heard.
kid.
I've
And when I
heard.
was I was an orphan kitten, and Samantha Martin found me and helped me nurse me back to health. And at the time, she had a house guest, Sterling Davis, who had the world's best cuddly beard. And I got to sleep in his beard. So I'm saying, everybody, support my man, Trap King Sterling Davis. He's got the cat's best. He's got a best beard for a cat ever.
That's
There.
sweet.
We even have cat promotions. What do you think?
I love it. So do
All
we want
right.
to talk about our winners from last week, or do you have a trivia
Yes.
question for this week?
Yes, I'm going to announce the winner of the trivia. The trivia question last week was, what is the name of the last kitty cat to roam the White House as the official first cat? We had a lot of choices out there, but the winner was a kitty named India, nicknamed Willie. And it was a black cat who was part of the George W. Bush family. So,
And we had a lot of people guess socks, and a lot of people guessed, but we did have some correct answers. So
who are the winners? And they're going to get, and pardon my manners, this show is brought to you by Pet King Brands, the makers of Zymox and Oratine, and they're going to get their paws on a great basket of Zymox and Oratine products. So who won?
all right. So the winner that was chosen from the trivia question was Gretchen Bertman. And I've not been able to reach Gretchen Bertman. I sent you a message with Messenger, but we have not gotten back to each other yet. So Gretchen, please reach out to me either on Messenger or send me an email at kathy.black@yahoo.com, because you are the winner of this wonderful Zymox.
Great stuff, guys. They've been
and
around for 4
Oratine.
decades. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're giving away this same package for this week's trivia question also. And
Right.
just
And
real
we also
quickly,
have winners
other-
from Aaliyah Zobel-Nolan, the prolific author on, she writes about God or cats. I love this. She covers both bases. She was giving away autographed copies of her books, Everything I Learned About the Rat Race, and Women Who Still Love Cats Too Much. So do we have any winners for them?
yes, and I've gotten in touch with them. It's Susan Willett and Andrea Dorn. Congratulations.
Oh, nice.
And Aaliyah said once that she digs out of all the snowstorm that she's currently dealing with, she'll get your books mailed off to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Aaliyah. Here comes, it's a Hemingway themed question, of course. It's winter, so let's think warm thoughts. Let's all go to Key West, Florida virtually right now. And here comes your trivia question. The descendants of the multi-toed cat belonging to Ernest Hemingway, the polydactyl, used to be on a fishing boat. This one cat is the matriarch of all these other kitties that are now here. So what was the name of Hemingway's beloved polydactyl cat? If you know the answer, even though you were in college partying, Stacy, don't say it. The winner is going to win that basket of the Zymox and Oratine products from Pet King Brands. So here we go. Was that polydactyl cat's name Sabrina? Or Sammy, S-A-M-M-I, Snowball, or Suki, S-U-K-I? So again, what was the name of the very first matriarch cat in the Hemingway clan? Your choices are Sabrina, Sammy, Snowball, or Suki. Go ahead and submit your answers now. And we don't pick one right away because we want more people to be watching the Facebook and the YouTube version of Meowy Hour. You still got a chance to win, right, Kathy?
Yes, I don't pick the winner until Sunday, usually Sunday afternoon. So type your answer into the chat on the Facebook live feed.
All right. I'm very, very honored and delighted that our guest is a repeat guest because one is not enough. We're talking about Stacy LaBaron, folks. She does the podcast of Community Cats Podcast. She's been doing that, I guess, for about 5 years now. And she'll tell you, but a number of episodes reaching a large number of people. But that's not what she's only about. For some reason, this is a time manager genius. She knows how to host conferences. Oh my gosh. I mean, tell us, well, first of all, welcome back on the show, Stacy. All right. So
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's get going. I mean, we got a lot of headline things that are coming up. So let's first talk. You started something last fall, I guess, about trap, neuter, and release. And people kind of know how to do it, but you're like, I think we might need to do a certification workshop. So tell us about an event you got coming up February 6th, which is the day before Super Bowl.
Right. So yeah, on the first Saturday of every month, we started in partnership with Neighborhood Cats, a trapper certification webinar process. So for folks that don't know, trap, neuter, return is basically where we trap cats and we spay and neuter them. We give them a nice ear tip and a little ear tip. And then we'll always be able to see that those cats are being cared for in the community and they're spayed and neutered. So they're not going to have kittens or get in bad fights and, you know, spray all over the place and all that stuff. And so, you know, one thing we felt actually during COVID was many of these organizations had trapping training sessions with volunteers. And it was like in a library, there are 10 or 20 people. And we're like, well, we have to do something virtual because the work still has to happen. The
cats, you don't want COVID cooties. Yeah. Oh, I think she's in Vermont right now. So it's freezing out there.
We decided to try it for.
I'm laughing. Hey, folks.
So
she's
anyway,
coming from Vermont. So the Wi-Fi is getting cold in Vermont. So let's try again. So you want to reach a bigger audience safely.
Correct. Exactly. You hear me okay, Arden? Am I unfrozen?
Yeah.
Good. Excellent. So I start yelling more and more at the computer, thinking that the computer's going to hear me and will like wake up better. And it's like, wait, it doesn't work that way. So anyway, but we have our trapper training certification workshops the first Saturday of every month, and they've been great. They've been wonderful. If you live in New York City, when you get a certificate, you take a quiz at the end and you get a certificate, you'll have access to free spay neuter services for your community cats. So if you have
that's a big deal. Now you mentioned too, another state, Michigan, they're getting discounts. So it's a 2.5 hour class, guys. You got to pass a little quiz. You're getting great current information, plus you're saving some money to benefit cats. So what's happening in Michigan if they take it?
So All About Animal Rescue, they also have a huge community cat program, and they have like 3 or 4 different clinics. One's in Detroit, one's in, I forget the other areas, the Flint, I think maybe. And then there's another place. And, you know, they're a high volume spay neuter clinic, and they are all about getting the community cat spayed and neutered. And they rent out their traps, and they have a huge program. I've actually been doing some analysis on like what shelving size do you use to hold your traps in these holding rooms and that kind of thing for a project I'm working on. So really trying to think about the needs for community cats and what's the infrastructure you need. But anyway, so they will offer benefits to get like the front of the line. If you've got a certificate, they know that you know what you're we've got another where Iowa Humane Alliance too. Anyway, so it's all good.
Well, the other thing is, just for the 2 people on the planet that don't know, what the heck is a community cat?
Well, I call it a cat with 4 paws on the asphalt, really. So any cat that is really outside and got their feet on the asphalt. But, I'm rethinking that definition myself because really, indoor kitties are also part of our community. And
Yeah.
and really what my objective of turning your passion for cats into action is really ensuring that every kitty in my community has access to whatever it needs in order to be a happy, well, and healthy cat. So whether it's an indoor only kitty or an outdoor kitty, I call it a community cat. So my
I like
definition
that.
is changing.
Well, and did you hear that? Don't let this pass you by, guys. She already has a tagline for 2021. Again, repeat, what is your theme for 2021?
Turn your passion for cats into action.
Nice. And in my household, I got 4 indoor cats, including one-eyed Mort, he was a community cat, 4 paws on the asphalt, but when you only have one eye, it's a little tricky. And he walks like a bulldog. And he plays with our kitties, and our dogs. Unfortunately, we think he was FIV positive or whatever. So we have a rug. So they play rug tag, the dogs and Rusty and Casey and him. And then when all my pets are in Ard's den in my backyard here in Dallas, we let Morty take over the house. And he loves it. Now, outside at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m., we can count on our tuxedo community cat, Baxter. That's how he sounds, Baxter. And he's a community cat that we have been feeding since I moved to Dallas. And unfortunately, he's one of those that backs up in like a truck and goes, do, 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 do. Psst. So he's not invited in, but he has a cool cat condo on our porch. And there's about 4 neighbors. We all take care of Baxter. And he's the last of the community cats in our neighborhood. So you can form a great connection, can't you, Stacy, with these cats that have 4 paws on the asphalt?
Right. And they're a bond. I mean, we look at our environment, we're isolating ourselves. We hardly know our neighbors. And if we just reach out in our local neighborhood, we meet our neighbors through the cats that we all love and care for. So really the cats are providing a social bridge for us to be able to support our neighbors better than we have been. We know our Facebook friends better than we know our neighbors. Is that really the best way we should be? So let the cats help create these communities and build them up. And I mean, I met a neighbor, he's 87 years old. He lives on his own at home. His wife passed away 3 months ago. And I'm like, it's a way to meet everybody and make sure everybody's looking out for all of our other neighbors.
And you're able to get a lot of information out as the host of the Community Cats podcast. So let's get some stats here because I'm an ex-sports writer. So talk about, you started in 2016 and let's hear some stats.
So I started in 2016. Originally the show was 5 days a week. And then after a while we scaled down to 3 days a week. Now we're at 1 day a week, but we have almost 400 episodes. And within a couple of weeks, we'll be at 250,000 downloads.
And that's not all of them are your relatives, right? These are actually, right. Okay, that's cool. Now let's talk about, you've got some big names that have been on as guests. And I'm looking at one of them right now, Kathy Black from CFA All Breed. You said yes to go behind the mic. How was your experience with Stacy?
Oh, it was fantastic. She's very easy to talk to. And we started off talking about CCW because that was the original intent, but we got off into all kinds of other subjects and topics. And so it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
And that's Companion Cat World, guys, for everybody that CFA is doing to promote the non-pedigree cats. I mean, I'm just curious because I'm a journalist. So I'm used to asking people questions and writing and all that. But were you ever a reporter?
Me? No, I'm an eager learner.
Okay.
And so I think that's what has gotten me into this line of work, is that I just like having conversations with people and having thoughtful conversations to see how they think and how I would think and try and help problem solve. And I feel like we have some incredible conversations that are valuable for other people to listen to and just to learn from. And really, this is an isolating world. I mean, in the cat show world, I'm sure there's people who feel isolated and they're on their own and nobody understands anything. And that's the same way that it is in the rescue world. And I want to share with folks that you're not alone. There's that we're in this, we're all in this together. There's somebody there. If someone wants to email me, everybody has my email, my cell phone. I want to be there. If there's somebody who's feeling alone, I'm not sure how much help I can be, but I can certainly be a sympathetic ear.
I think we should make her a saint. What do you think? I have no authority. I'm not even Catholic, but I think we should make it Saint Stacy. I mean, you have some interesting folks too. I love this. We're going to have him in March, everybody. Nathan, the cat lady. I mean, talk about coming up with a great moniker. What was your experience with him on the show?
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. And we just released his podcast last week, and he is just an interesting guy. I mean, there's this real thing about how, women don't want to date men that like cats. And so, and
you would think that would be like the ideal dude, Yeah. You love me and you love my cats. Yeah.
So he wanted to create an app that would help, a dating app that would help, help him find women and help women find men or partners, and people find each other, helping each other find their match. I mean, I guess it could be challenging for somebody if you had quite a few cats in your house and, someone else wasn't so into it or whatever. So, I mean, it is a deal breaker in many relationships.
Or allergic. I had a guy tell me he was allergic, and that was the end of that relationship. Yeah.
My brother was on a dating app, and I'm not embarrassing my brother. I love my brother. He's he's got a cat named Sheffield. Of course, a lot of dudes that have cats have to name their cats some macho name. His last one was, lager, like the beer. So anyway, Kevin was on one of those it's just lunch dates. And he dutifully put in his thing that he had a cool cat named Lager. And the lady comes looking, I guess, for a free meal and says, "Oh, you have pets? Well, I hope you have a dog. You don't have a cat," as she ordered very expensive entree. And Kevin said, "It was on my app. Didn't you just read it?" "No." And he said, "Well, this is your last free meal from me."
Yeah, exactly.
I'm keeping Sheffield. So I think it's kind of cool. So it is interesting. I'm like you. I'm always learning from other people, and we're trying to share. Now, show that little thing you have, this little feline fix by 5. You've got this little visual aid. Let's be Vanna White here. Okay, talk about that. What's that campaign about?
So this is February is a Feline Fix by 5 months, and it's a campaign that was launched by Esther Meckler and Dr. Phil Bushby, talking about the importance of spaying and neutering your cats by 5 months. If we all got our cats spayed and neutered by 5 months across the board, we wouldn't have oops litters. We wouldn't be loading up our shelters with kittens during kitten season. It would make a tremendous impact on our overpopulation situation. So if we just transferred our thought from 6 months down to 5 months, it would be a great impact, because cats can get pregnant at 4 months of age. So
some of them.
The other thing, obviously, there are responsible breeders like the Cat Fancier Association that are trying to maintain the nice lineage of all the breeds. But you're right. There's a lot of cats that just look at the male to the female and go, "Oops, I'm pregnant."
Right. And I mean, the one thing that our objective from the community cat standpoint is we don't want the kittens outside. The kittens are the ones that are, I mean, you've got Baxter, but Baxter's, made it through the trenches. It's the first year of life as an outdoor kitty that's extremely challenging. And actually it's the time that we don't really want them out there, because unfortunately kittens will get hit by cars. They will get attacked by predators. Bad things can happen to kittens when they're
not vaccinated, so they're
outside. And so
they're getting horrible upper respiratories and feline infectious, FIP and FIV and everything else. That first year is really rough. So
Yeah, so I love this. And the other thing is we're going to shift gears a little bit because you've got some conferences coming up. You want to talk about them?
Yeah, sure thing. So in the spay neuter theme of things, which this is really is February spay neuter month. Spay Day is February 23rd. So we have that coming up, and you know, and Doris Day was a big fan of it, and you know, did she pass away like what 4 months ago, or was it longer
Recently?
than that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we should
Sarah,
all
Sarah. She's in heaven singing that. Yep.
have a moment for her because she was really a leader in that. And then we have the United Spay Alliance online conference. So we're going to be doing all things spay neuter February 26th through 28th. So we start Friday night and we'll go all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And we talk about how to start a stationary clinic, do a voucher program, mobile spay neuter clinic. We talk about different veterinary practices, how to do a spay neuter license plate, one of those vanity plates.
Oh, nice. I like
to help support affordable spay neuter, because access to care is really a hot topic. A lot of people can't afford the veterinary care necessary to get spay neuter. So, you know, we're trying to brainstorm a lot of ideas around that.
And I know Teresa's doing this probably, but everybody, there's so many ways to get hold of Stacy LaBaron, but the best way is communitycatspodcast.com or go on Facebook any other, because that directs you to everything, right?
Yeah, communitycatspodcast.com is my website, and that's the best place to go. We are Community Cats Podcast on Facebook, as well as on Instagram. And and we're on Twitter, and we have a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. So, and I'm on LinkedIn personally at Stacy LaBaron. So you can find me anywhere, but communitycatspodcast.com is the best place to go.
I know it sounds a silly question, but come on, do you sleep or do you just do cat naps?
Yeah, no, I sleep. What I'm very good at, which I learned through all of this, is I learned to be able to turn on and turn off very quickly.
Okay.
And I
don't
think
turn off right now, though. Okay. Okay.
I think if people care, I mean, I used to worry about my pets, my children, the shelter I ran. I would worry all the time, and I probably dabbled with some compassion fatigue in my past life, and you probably talked about that. And so I think I developed some really good skills about how to turn things on and to turn things off. And I think that that's a skill that we all have to work on, and we should strive to work on it, because this can be an overwhelming responsibility.
So give us a tip, the good doctor. So when people feel like they're just getting overwhelmed, what's a tip or two you could share?
Yeah, well, I do what's called box breathing. So yeah, so even if I'm like in the car and I feel like I'm anxious and I'm stressed, or if I'm in traffic, or just life feels overbearing, I'll find a quiet place and you just breathe in like 4, hold it for 4, and then breathe out up to 8 or 6 to 8, and just very slow 4 count in, hold 4 count out. So I would do that.
Nice.
I also try to transition my work. So like, I'll plan to take a shower in between, like when I stop my work and go into rest, I have an activity that's in between that will bridge me into my off time.
I have a bridge that does my off time. I actually watch, it's silly, I watch Wheel of Fortune.
That's great.
I record it because my day can start at 7 or 8, and there's a lot of different things I have to do, but I know that it's there. And, if there's a lot of things happening because COVID and the election, everybody's, so I just give myself, it's actually 20 minutes when you take the commercials out. I give myself time to sit on the couch with my furry Brady Bunch and try to guess what that darn puzzle is, and pray that the person picks the right category to try to win. Hint, hint, hint. Phase is easier than event.
Yeah.
Okay. So, or what are you doing is better than what are you wearing? So I don't know why. It's my escape. Is that what it is? It's an escape. But then if I have to do something later that night, because I do a lot of writing at night when my head is clear, it seems like it's Wheel of Fortune is my go-to. What do you think?
I think it's great. Yeah, it's a habit, it's a routine, it's something that your body and your brain knows to expect at some point in time. It's your bedtime story.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing is, nothing beats taking my 90, 35, and 9-pound dogs for walks with Julie, and then coming back where all the cats are at the door going, really? Really? And spending like 5 or 10 minutes playing with them up on down the cat tree and throwing. I'm a good thrower. So we got spring toys and other things. And it doesn't take a lot of time, but then we all look at each other like, ah. Mm-hmm. So I like to have aha moments with my cats and my dogs. They're keeping me sane. Well, I am sort of sane, I guess. So one thing I want to ask you about is I'm going to be making a cocktail tonight with Kahlua, but you're hiding what you're drinking, and it's something that's local in Vermont. So let's educate our listeners about one of your favorite go-tos, and you're just sipping it, guys. She's not drunk.
No, am I allowed to show it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm in Vermont, and this is like micro brew territory. Everybody's into beer up here. I'm sure everybody's into beer everywhere, but many people here know Alchemist beer, which is in Waterbury. Well, this is Lawson's Finest Liquids, which is the Waitsfield local beer.
Jeez.
And they have a Sip of Sunshine brand. I was looking for that, but we didn't have that in the fridge. But we have Super Session No. 4 Centennial IPA.
Where'd they come up with this name? What's it taste like?
It's a light IPA. It's not super heavy. They do have a more lager like one that's a heavier type beer, but I like the lighter type. So it's very summery.
How can you drink a beer in the cold tundras of Vermont in January or February?
It's tough, actually, to be honest, but it's, I'm still celebrating from the weekend. So I was just like, I finally wrapped up the online cat conference to-dos. As you all know, there's always a long list of to-dos after the conference, and I finished wrapping that stuff up today. So I was like, after I chat with Arden, I'm going to celebrate.
That sounds good. And we kind of go in the same circles. So what's your impact of what's happening with CFA? And now we've got the Trap King benefit coming up. It seems like we're all kind of in sync. And she's frozen.
Yeah, I think it's great. And Arden, you and I know I'm frozen.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. You're back.
We will be working Behavior Day too, and joining me for that. I just think it's great. I think we're all in this together. We love cats, right?
Yeah. So I'm curious, what is your favorite cat breed? If I know you love all cats, that's not taken away from community cats, but just maybe by the look or the personality, what's the cat you're like, ooh, I'm going to look again?
So I'll first say I love all black cats.
Okay, cool.
In general, that's not a breed, but Russian blues.
Really? And why is that? Just because Teresa has a picture of one right up here?
No. I honestly, the ones that I have met in my life have been very nice, actually. And
here comes Phoebe.
Right on cue.
They're just beautiful. I just like the crispness of them. They're like a modern architectural building. Just from a design standpoint, they just make me feel, I love the color. I just love the color.
Well, that's good. Well, you just made Phoebe's day and Teresa's. Hey guys, we want Stacy LaBaron to stick around because right now we're going to shift gears and we're going to talk about the American Wirehair. I'm going to learn about that. I'm going to briefly go off while I get ready to make my wonderful white Russian. I got to get some contents. So I'm going to pass it over to Kathy Black. Take it away, Kathy.
Okay. Whoops, I hit the wrong button. Sorry.
I've done that.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the American Wirehair. And we've talked about different types of mutations in the past. And the American Wirehair is just that. It's a mutation that happened randomly to a litter of kittens. And it just affects the coat. And so the coat crimps and kinks and twists all over the cat's body. It even affects the whiskers, the hairs in the ears, and the hairs between the toes, which I always say I can't imagine having twisted up kinky hairs between my toes. That can't be very comfortable. But anyway, it started with a litter born in 1966. They were first recognized by CFA in 1967, and they were accepted for competition and championship in 1978. These cats come in lots of different colors and patterns, and so the most significant thing about this breed is the coat. About half the kittens will be wired-haired at birth, so some of the kittens that are born will not have the wired coat. The coat can be a little long and have ringlets, or it can be a little shorter and straighter and crimp up with more maturity. So these cats will come in a variety of different types of coat. They're all short-haired, but you want a cat that, with both parents having a hard coat, to produce the best the kinky coat, let's say, or the wiring of the coat with the offspring. So I've got some pictures here. Like I said, they come in lots of different colors and patterns. This is one of those breeds that you've really got to feel. When you feel these cats' coat, it always reminds me of like a Brillo pad. You know, when you think about the way a Brillo pad, I always said I couldn't own one of these cats because it would pick up every dust bunny in my house, and they would be just a constant dust mop in my house. But some of these pictures you can really see, especially here along the back and on the tail, you can really see how that hair is crimped and it's kind of sticking up. You don't want it to be real open. So you do want a nice fully coated cat. But this cat, this picture that Teresa, I think you used this one, Teresa, in the ad that we put out. You can really see the wiring. There's 45 points, I think, on the wiring of the coat. So that's a lot of points out of 100 just for this one feature with the cat. The wider coats are a little softer by nature, and so they're a little harder to get fully wired. But I like this picture I stole off of a breeder's website, because you can really see, even though it's a white cat, you can really see the wiring to that coat. Teresa, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I was going to say, you remember the first time you felt an American Wirehair's coat? Was that not just the, oh my goodness, because Kathy said exactly what I thought. They feel like a Brillo pad. They're a really laid back cat. They're outcrossed to develop the breed. It's the American Shorthair. You can kind of see that breed in the body, and they get to have a similar temperament to them. They're a really easy to live with cat. And but again, when you keep going back to that coat, it's just unusual feeling.
I really tried to find a picture of a more zoomed in look to the coat, and I couldn't really find one, because like Teresa said, it is very difficult to show in pictures and to imagine until you actually touch the coat. And they are just like that little Brillo pad, because every coat is twisted and kinked and bent. And so you really get that coat standing away from the body. And that it's just because of the genetic mutation.
Yeah, it's not the curly coat that we've seen with either the Devon Rex or the Cornish Rex. Both of those, or the Selkirk Rex, all of those are curly, soft, and kinky. This guy, again, the American Wirehair, that it was appropriately named.
Yes, it's not one of the Rex. Yeah, it's not one of the Rex families. It's not. That's not what's going on here. It is a different mutation.
What'd you think of that, Stacy? I learned something.
Yeah, it's fascinating, definitely. And we've had over the years with the Merrimack River Feline Rescue Society, we've had several cats with those kinds of coats.
Really?
They didn't come in the door with their papers, but they definitely had that stuff going on with their
Well,
coats. Definitely.
Mother Nature every now and then you'll have these spontaneous mutations pop up.
Well, let's give it up for Kathy and for
great.
Teresa. Thank you so much for sharing about the American Wirehair. That's pretty cool.
We've been featuring some very minority breeds, and because we had the Havana Browns and we had the Singaporas,
and
now the
the American Wirehair is our least represented breed. That list just came out for the most registered breeds, and this fabulous breed is probably the least registered.
There's a couple of breeders in Texas, Arden. So if you want to get your hands on one, I can point you in the right direction.
I would love to touch and meet an American Wirehair. I mean, seriously. I have a full house though.
I know you do.
When we got married, we merged. It's the furry Brady Bunch, but it was my mission and we accomplished it. Everybody gets along. And it's kind of cute because each of the dogs and each of the cats have a favorite dog or cat pal. So it just works out. So I'm just sitting back going, yeah, I did all that.
You got lucky.
They read your emotional state and consistency and being predictable, trying to put a little behavior in there and give them all something that's enriching, cat or dog. A happy dog or cat, a tired one is a happy one. And that's my mission. So we don't have lazy butts in my house. And we have a lot of fun too. Hey, we want to talk a little bit about CCW. I'm going to keep you on there, Kathy. So talk about these because Trap King is going to be talking about that too with this big benefit. This is a big deal. I love this companion cat world.
Yes. One thing I want to point out that maybe not everybody knows, that a portion of your registration fee, which is only $13 per cat, a portion of that goes to a shelter in your area. So we have, in the United States, we have 7 different regions. We have 7 different shelters that have been identified. So every registration that comes from that region goes to that shelter. So there's one here in the Gulf Shore region. Anybody that lives in one of the 9 states as part of the Gulf Shore region, their portion of their proceeds goes to the shelter that's been identified. And so we want everyone to be sure that even if it's a community cat, if it's your own cat, if it's anything that's non-pedigreed, go to cfa.org/CCW and upload a picture. Your $13 will get you this card, will get your cat in our gallery of cats. You also have the ability to order luggage tags or key rings. So everybody be sure and support the virtual cat show that's coming up, because not only is that going to help the Trap King himself, but it's also going to support our shelters and help educate people about our CFA and our programs. So everybody check it out, okay?
Sounds good. Hey, we got a couple things before we end, and one of them is you can be your cat's best health ally by taking a vet-approved first aid class, and I give it with this guy, Pet Safety Cat Casey. And we have openings for our February 25th. It is live, it is interactive, and all 3 of these people have already taken my class, and they're still my friends. But Rusty sometimes makes an appearance if he's not going to be annoying to Casey while we're doing chest compressions or leg wraps. As he gets older, he's getting to be a super sweet love bug. But as a kitten, he was like, oh, I think I can be into mischief. So again, go to Pet First Aid for You. And Stacy, we should do a certification program for your guys so we can talk about that. When I was at the Academy last January, I did a 3-hour cat class and it was very attended. A lot of people were like, can you come to our shelter and all that? So call me, we'll talk, because maybe we can give a portion to help some of these groups and keep Casey and me busy. What do you think?
I think it sounds like a great idea.
And it's what my passion is. I want us to keep safe with our babies. And he's got a new bow tie on, guys, just for you. So we're getting ready to do the kitty cocktail. Today, Uh-oh, watch out, it's got cream in it. So that means Casey and Rusty are gonna come to help. It's called the Wonderful White Persian. Now, I'm gonna give you a choice, guys. You're gonna have a choice. Thank you, Teresa Kiger. Look at this, doesn't that look yummy? Thank you for designing this, Teresa, but I'm giving you a choice. Now, you can pick Kahlua or Bailey's Irish Cream. It's a taste preference. Just a little information, Kahlua is actually a coffee flavored rum from Mexico. Did you guys know that?
Mm-hmm.
Versus Bailey's Irish Cream, which is actually an Irish whiskey with dairy cream things, and the cocoa beans are harvested in West Africa. So I love being a licensed bartender, but I love the history of how drinks are concocted. So for this one, I'm picking my Kahlua. You take a nice rock glass and see this beautiful ice cube in here. You don't want a little shaving. You don't want all that thing spitting in your mouth. You want a nice ice drink. And the first thing you do is put 1.5 ounces of vodka. 1.5 ounces on a pour like this is a 6 count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you want a 1/2 ounce of Kahlua or Bailey's, which is a 4 count. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And here is where the kitties are coming, because you also want to top it with your favorite milk dairy creamer. Mine is Moo. Oh no, here it comes. Moo. It's a Moo. I make my coffee every morning. They want to have Moo. Oh, here he comes. Casey, come on, Moo. Here we go, Casey. Yes, I love the Moo. The Moo is the best. And then you just want to give it a nice little twirl. Keep the kitty away from the moo-moo. And at this time, let's all raise a glass. May it be a Vermont lager. May it be iced tea. May it be a wonderful white Persian. Or what are you drinking today, Miss Teresa?
Iced tea.
Iced tea. Whatever your drink is, the main mission is being inclusive for all cats. We need to raise a glass and toast to all cats, purebreds and mutts. Everywhere. They make our lives better. Cheers.
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 Oh, savory, smooth with an adult kick.
Well, you got vodka in there.
Vodka, baby. Vodka, baby. My eyebrows just went up. I'm not driving, but it is nice. Some people like to put a little whipped cream if you like. And the more you let it all kind of chill and meld, the smoother it gets.
So what is the name taken from? What's that drink really called?
I think it's a White Russian.
Well, a White Russian, so that's why. So okay,
A White Persian.
I know what a White Russian is, but I couldn't come up with the Persian part of it. Okay.
Yeah, I have fun creating these cocktails every week, guys. I hope you get to enjoy them. And please, a big round of applause for Teresa Kiger. She puts those graphic designs together, and we're still hoping we're going to do a kitty cocktail book. We're going to do this. We're going to make it happen. We just both got full plates right now. But anyway, again, let's thank our sponsor, Pet King Brands, the maker of Oratine and Zymox. And guess what? February is also Pet Dental Health Month. And check out their lineup of Oratine products that they have. You don't have to put a toothbrush in your cat's teeth, because they've got other things, sprays and rinses and gels, all to get rid of that plaque and all that bad boy doggy breath in a cat. And Zymox is a great one for conditioning and shampoos. So we're very happy to have them on board. We also, at this time, want to thank the Cat Fancier Association, as Casey stands on my keyboard. Does not do that, bud. He goes, I'm going for the moo-moo. We also want to thank the Cat Fancier Association for presenting Meowy Hour each and every week. We've been going strong, guys, since June. And I really love that we're drawing people like you from all over the globe. Look what we got here. We got a big event coming up to benefit Trap King, Sterling Davis. And we are honored that it's sponsored by the Cat Fancier Association, Pet King Brands, Catnip, Cat
From
Person.
feral to fancy, everybody's
I love
welcome.
it. And Cuddly. Cuddly is a great group. And the CEO is actually an NFL official when he isn't helping pets. So
Cool.
good guy. So everybody, our guest, we got to give a big salute to. Let's shout it out to Stacy LaBaron from Community Cats Podcast and all those great online training conferences she's giving. You're a good person. You're a good person, Stacy.
You all are.
And
good.
quickly, who's our guest next week?
And next week, our guest is going to be a cat behaviorist. Dr. Rachel Geller is in the house. So she's going to help us figure out why cats do what they do. Again, let's thank Kathy Black. Let's thank Teresa Kiger. Rusty somewhere. Casey goes, I'm your furry co-host. We're going to see you same cat channel, same cat time next Wednesday on Meowy Hour. Thank you, everybody.